In this video, we are going to tackle this pantry space. It's a little on the small side and it belongs to an avid cook who needs a lot of different ingredients at her disposal. Stay tuned as we go through the 6 steps that we took to transform this pantry into something beautiful and functional. Hi, welcome to The Peaceful Home. I'm TeresaElling. I'm a professional organizer, a parenting coach, a wife and homeschool mom to 6 graduated kids. If you've been following me for a while, I want to let you in on something new that I'm going to try. I definitely have organizing, decorating videos, and parenting videos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to air my parenting videos on Tuesdays and my home content on Fridays. So that way, if you prefer one or the other, you can tell at a glance what type of video it's going to be. I know that not every video applies to all of my viewers. I appreciate you guys so much and your willingness to support this channel. Okay, let's dive into pantry organization. So this is a very special client. This is actually my mom. My mom and my dad, but my mom does the majority of the cooking, although my dad can hold his own in the kitchen. My mom has been an amazing cook. I grew up eating the most amazing meals, and she continues to cook. It's really the way that she shows love to her family and friends. They just moved into a new home, and she's really had some trouble getting the pantry organized. So these are the steps we took. Number 1, identify the problems. So here is a picture of the before. This is what it looked like when I came in. We did take the sliding doors off so that it would be easier to access everything while we were organizing. But there were a few problems my mom was having. Number 1, just too much stuff. And one clue that you can tell that you have too much is that it starts to migrate to the floor. And then the floor piles get higher. So that means that you're not utilizing your space in the best way. The second problem was deep shelves. And if you have any deep shelves, you know they are like bottomless pits. You put things on there, they get pushed to the back, new stuff gets put in the front, and you don't even know what is in there. The more you pile up, the harder it is to see, the harder it is to actually get to the things in the back. So it's just really tricky. I absolutely hate deep shelves. I mean, on one hand, they definitely provide the most storage. It just isn't always easily accessible. And the third problem was no labels. Step 2 is to prepare for this project. Now, what I mean by that is clear your counters, clear your kitchen island if you have one, bring in extra tables and set them up. You will need counter space. Make sure that you have trash cans nearby, large ones, boxes for expired food that is heavy, and a recycling bin. Step 3, you're going to pull everything out. Now, I know this seems like a crazy, daunting task, but when I see clients that have tried to do their projects before I get there, they've never taken everything out of the space. They always look at it and pull a few things out and move a few things around and switch things, and they never really get to the root issue by getting every single thing out, touching everything, knowing exactly what they have. This is applicable for any organizing project. In fact, I will link 2 below in particular. One is my closet video, and the other one is my kitchen drawer video, where in both cases, I dump everything out. I remove everything from the closet. It's the best way to get a fresh start. Number 4, you want to evaluate all of your food, declutter, and sort. So you can be doing part of this while you are emptying your space. Check the expiration dates. Get rid of anything that is really expired. Fill up those trash cans, boxes, recycle things. You do need to keep in mind that an expired food in the pantry doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Now, a refrigerated item is a whole different thing, but pantry items are often shelf stable for much longer than their expiration date, but the expiration is the guarantee for freshness. After that, it's still going to be okay. It's not going to make you sick or anything. It's just that the quality will continue to decline over the years. If you have a lot of expired food, it is a clue that you either stocked up on food that you no longer use in the past, you can get rid of it, or you're just buying too much. And again, you're not using it at the rate at which you're buying it. So it can kind of give you a clue on your shopping for the future. And maybe tell yourself, okay, I will stock up and have 3 packages of spaghetti, or whatever the number is, and don't buy more than that. Don't buy more than what will fit into your space. Now, again, I'm not talking about long-term storage or emergency storage, which probably should be in another location, like a basement, a garage. My emergency stash is actually in my master closet because I have space there and it's cool and dry. But this is for pantry items that you're using day to day. When we pulled everything out and began to declutter, toss the expired food, we put everything in categories. So that's the way we were sorting. So all of your condiments are together, and all of your soups are together, and all of your beans are together, and your rice, and whatever. Number 5 is to clean out the space. Wipe down all the shelves, sweep out the floor, get the cobwebs up in the corners. And look and see if you need to change anything as far as your shelving. Do you need to do a little remodel job? Do you need to do some touch-up paint? In this case, the entire left side was open without shelving. Now, I believe the reason is before it was actually the laundry. And there was room for the washer and dryer to go there. The previous owners moved that outside to the patio in a closet, and this became the pantry. So shelves went in the right side, but the left side was open. My parents put a little 3-shelf unit right on the left side to kind of fill in and give them a little bit more space. But what we decided to do was take that out, and my husband built a couple of other shelves just mirroring the ones on the right. So we just extended those to the left, and that really is the best use of space. If you can do built-in shelving, you utilize every little bit of that space. Now, the edging on the existing shelving was the kind of plastic iron-on. It goes on like laminate wood, and it was peeling off, but we couldn't get the rest of it off without considerable time and effort, which we did not have. And so as a little bit of a shortcut, we used white contact paper to just cover up those edges. And we also used some white spray paint to just hit some areas that needed some paint. Some unfinished wood that we could see, some stains on the walls, and a pipe. And so by painting that all white, it all blended in, and it's just a little more pleasing to the eye. This leads up to number 6, purchase containers for storage. I would recommend that you measure your space across for your shelving, the depth of your shelving, the height. Take those measurements with you when you go to a Walmart, a Target, Lowe's, Home Depot. I did shopping at Marshall's as well. Wherever you normally buy containers, you can also get quite a few on Amazon. Again, we were limited on space, so this was a quick dash to whatever stores were available. And we also bought extra. The return policies these days are so good, especially Target and Walmart and Amazon. Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, those have a 30-day limit. And so it's important to remember that if you need to return something, get it done within those 30 days. So you can see here, we bought a lot of different items. I did measure, I looked at what I thought would work. For my parents, clear containers work the best. They want to be able to see what is in there. We had a couple of containers that were very deep that went all the way back to the back wall, and those were great. A couple of clear ones. And then we subdivided with some smaller baskets in those. And we also got a couple of large baskets for things like pasta and rice, where you don't necessarily need to see everything, but you can just pull the basket out and grab what you need. Number 7 is to start putting everything back. So this is very experimental. You're going to try things and you're going to end up completely switching them up. And so be flexible, be willing to try different configurations and see what works best for you. One of my favorite things to use in a pantry space is a Lazy Susan. And we got 3 of them for this space. And this allowed my mom to have all of her different condiments and dressings. She does a lot of Mexican food, a lot of Asian food, Mediterranean food. And so she had quite a few different types of spices, sauces, dressings. And the Lazy Susan allows you to very quickly see exactly what you have. So I recommend that. We tried that. We had to make sure that they all fit within the space. And then with the other containers, we just tried different configurations. And I just put them in all empty. I tried different things. I moved them around before you have all your food put away, because then it's a lot harder. And then once you know what you want and you kind of have a good idea, then you're going to begin to fill those containers up with different items. It's going to take some work. For example, I started filling a container full of nuts, which my dad loves nuts. And by the time I was almost full with this container, I realized there was still so much more. He had a lot of different almonds in particular, but probably 6 or 7 other kinds of nuts as well. I ended up putting all of the almonds in one container, and it filled it, and all of the other nuts into another container. So you don't really know that until you get going. So keep trying different things, see what works, but remember to put like with like. Put all of your canned vegetables together, all of your canned beans together, etc. Normally, I don't like to put anything on the floor. I like the floor completely clear. Even if you have to put a shelf that's 2 inches above the ground, that's better than putting items on the floor. It enables you to instantly sweep, clean out the floor, which is a huge plus. But my folks had limited space and they had a couple of cases of things. And so I wanted to make sure that those could go in easily. So we put those on the floor. We also used a bin for potatoes and onions. And since that's closed, it will be cool, dry, and dark in there, which is perfect. Now, this is one of my best tips, and it's hard to do because you have to minimize. But if there is any way to leave blank space, please do it. And here's why. There's no way you can anticipate for every type of food that's going to come into your home. And when we fill the pantry full and it looks beautiful and great, and then we run to Costco and we come home with a case of tomatoes and a case of almond milk and a huge package of flour, where are those things going to go? We've left no room for those things. If you buy in bulk at all, you've got to leave space for that. Now, of course, you can put cases of things like in a garage or in another space and then backfill so that you have things handy. I do recommend, if you're bringing in cases of things, whenever possible, remove them completely from the packaging. That makes a big difference. A lot of times when I go into clients' homes and look in their pantry, I find a lot of trash. I find the box and the plastic that was around the case of tomatoes, and someone took the last can and left the wrapping in there, and that happens a lot. If you buy drinks or sodas or waters, remove each can, line them up on your pantry. One way or the other, you have to remove that packaging and dispose of it. So do it before. It will make your space much neater. Once everything is back in its place, you've tweaked stuff, you're pretty sure this is the way you want it, it's time to label. I love the P-Touch labels, and I'll link below the one that I use on Amazon. I use it for everything in my home. And the great thing about these labels, they are laminated, so they don't get dirty. They're easy to wipe clean. I love the classic just black lettering on white. That's what I use standard. Now, if you have a basket, you can't use a sticky label. So I tend to get some sort of hanging tag or chalkboard tag. I usually get these at the dollar spot at Target or the stationery section, craft section in Walmart. You can find all sorts of really cute things, and these are tied to baskets. But make sure that you label everything. A box without a label is saying, fill me with whatever you want, and that's a disaster. Other huge benefit for labeling in a family is that everyone knows where things go. Everyone knows how to find something that they're looking for. So labels are so important. Now, one last thing to consider when you're working in a kitchen, and that is location, location, location. Where you put things is so important. Put them closest to where you use them. So your dish towels should be near your sink. Your baking soda and baking powder shouldn't be near where you mix up cookies. You want to use your most valuable real estate for the things you use the most often. So one of the things that I was looking at, even though we were doing the pantry, I scanned the rest of the kitchen and I could see some things. For example, my mom had some serving platters, an ice bucket, and a few other things that are only used for parties and special occasions. Yet they were in a primary spot in the kitchen. Well, my mom bakes quite a bit, and her flour and sugar and refills were in the pantry. So one way that we could clear some things out was to move the platters, move the party stuff to another location, and utilize that really valuable space for stuff that's used all the time. So we went ahead and did a quick refresh. The canisters on the counter hold the baking supplies, and then we had a cupboard below that we put all of the refills whenever she has to refill powdered sugar or flour. And then we went through the spice cabinet, again, just with these steps, clearing everything out, getting rid of expired stuff, and reorganizing it so that it was a little easier to find things. Sometimes things get scattered, so you might have flour in one spot and cupcake liners in another spot and baking powder in another. Put all of your baking stuff together, except for something that you maybe use very rarely that could be put in a different location. Here's a last look at the final results of this pantry makeover. you found this content helpful, I hope you will consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, and please give this video a thumbs up. I hope this inspires you to go do a quick makeover of your own pantry. I would love to hear what you've done in the comments below. Be sure to find me on social media. My Facebook and Instagram are in the description box below. Thanks for joining me today on The Peaceful Home. Have a great day.